Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kid Stories Podcast. I'm Phil Bechtel. Before we get started, I want to give a big birthday shout out to Lincoln, who just turned 9 years old. Happy birthday, Lincoln! I hope for your birthday you get a robot ninja bodyguard, and a never-ending slice of pizza, and a little friendly duck who lives in your pocket, and a giant machine that makes goofballs and then shoots them into your mouth. Lincoln, I think if you were a character from the stories, you'd be the Gray Dragon's long-lost brother, and you two were in the same egg together, except you were a human and he was a dragon, and you have the ability to transform into a dragon, and you were kidnapped by a space wizard who made you into a star dragon so you could fly him through outer space until one day you finally break free from the space wizard and go back home to the valley. Thanks for listening, Lincoln. Happy birthday, buddy. Today's episode is titled Master Momo's Origin Story, Part 7. Master Tin's fire tornado move had sent Momo and the rat ninjas running into the forest. They hid among the trees trying to figure out a plan for their next move as Tin and his two henchmen stomped into the forest. The evil robots spread out, looking for Momo and the others. Master Tin had let Momo escape once before. He wasn't going to let him get away a second time. Momo poked his head around the tree he was hiding behind, just a little bit, just enough to see Tin and the other two bots walking through the forest, kicking logs and slicing through brush with their swords. All right, at least they're splitting up, Momo thought. Maybe we can take them on one at a time. Momo turned and spotted Master Jeff standing beneath a huge leaf, watching the evil robots march through the trees. Momo and Jeff shared a look. The heroes each knew they were in a tough spot. It wasn't looking good. But if they were going to make a last stand, then this was it. Momo nodded to Jeff. Jeff nodded to Momo. And the two ninjas leaped out, dashing from tree to tree toward Master Tin. At the same time, Master Jeff called out to his ninja rats, instructing them to attack the two henchbots. Thousands of rats popped up from their hiding places and attacked one of the henchbots. The little rodents climbed all over the robot, using their swords to pry open the metal plates to get at the wiring inside. The robot spasmed and jerked, hitting himself to try and knock the rats off his body. The robot slammed himself into nearby trees and clawed at the rats that covered him. Soon the robot was nothing more than a giant pile of swarming ninja rats. The other henchbot ran over to assist his evil robot friend and met some surprise resistance on the way. Serpico ran in from the nearby town. The mule barreled right for the henchbot, who was running over to help his buddy covered in rats. As the robot readied two swords to fight off the rats, Serpico got close enough to strike. The strong mule turned around and kicked the robot so hard he flew into a huge tree. Before the robot could gather himself, Serpico ran up and kicked him again. The mule was facing away from the robot, using his powerful hind legs to blast the evil metal ninja. Again and again, Serpico smashed the robot into the tree with his powerful hooves. By the time the robot ninja turned his attention to the mule, he was too busted up to do anything about it. Serpico had crushed him to bits, and the robot slumped down to the forest floor in pieces. Meanwhile, Momo and Master Jeff rushed to Master Tin. The two heroes dashed from tree to tree, hoping to confuse the robot. Before they reached him, a group of rat wizards popped out from their hiding places and threw magical powder onto Master Jeff. All colors of shiny powder covered the little rat, and he began to grow. Momo stopped his advance, standing behind a tree and watching in wonder as the rat ninja grew and grew and grew until he and Momo were the same size. Master Jeff slung his guitar out in front of him and strummed. A simple melody echoed through the trees, and Jeff, this human-sized rat, slid a sword out of a secret compartment in the back of the guitar. Momo did a double take as he noticed that Master Jeff's sword was made of wood. Momo hoped that wooden sword was somehow magical, otherwise it was a poor choice for fighting an evil robot ninja. But there was no time to ask about it now. As Master Tin and Jeff gripped their swords, Momo realized he could still hear the strumming of the guitar as it lay on the forest floor. Momo and Jeff rushed Master Tin from both sides. The robot had both arms outstretched, moving them at inhuman speeds to deflect Jeff and Momo's attacks. Master Tin's body began glowing red as the evil magic within was pushed to the limit. Momo then maneuvered to the side, so that Tin's sword thunked into a tree and stuck there. Before he was able to pull it free, Momo lifted his sword high in the air and hacked down hard, chopping the robot's arm clean off. Master Jeff took note and did the same, allowing Tin to nearly land a slice only to have the sword hack into a thick tree trunk and get stuck there. As Tin tugged at his sword with his only good arm, Jeff and Momo each jabbed their swords into the evil robot's metal torso. Master Jeff let go of his sword, leaving it stuck inside the robot. He grabbed onto the large metal chest plate with his sharp rat claws and ripped it right off. The armor clunked to the ground, exposing all the sensitive wiring and technology within. Momo and Jeff shredded the red glowing insides of the evil robot ninja until the metal body began to tremble and shake. Master Tin glowed such a bright red that it hurt their eyes to look at him. "He's gonna blow!" Momo called out. He and Master Jeff ran away and dove for cover just as Master Tin exploded with evil magic. Momo lay on the ground after the explosion. The forest was silent for a bit. Then Momo and all the rats began looking around at the destruction. One henchbot lay at the roots of a tree where Serpico had kicked him to bits. Another robot stood, frozen and hunched over where the rats had severed all the important connections and wires. And pieces of Master Tin were blown all over the forest. Momo, Serpico, Master Jeff, and the rats of Cliffside City all ran back to the little town of Pumpkin to help them put out the fires caused by Tin and his henchbots. Momo noticed that Master Jeff was slowly shrinking back down to his original size as the magic from the rat wizards wore off. "That's some sword you got there, Jeff," Momo commented, as the rat slid the strange wooden sword back into his guitar. "It is some sword indeed," Jeff replied. "Maybe sometime I'll tell you all about it." But for now, everyone focused on helping the citizens of Pumpkin. And in the days that followed this terrible battle, the heroes did their best to fix what Master Tin had stolen and destroyed. Alice and the other ninjas of Cliffside eventually recovered and continued their work in the city along with Master Jeff and the ninja rats. And Momo realized that the valley could use another strong group of protectors. He headed east and founded the Valley Town Dojo. The end. Thanks for listening, friends. The website is kidstoriespodcast.com. The email is kidstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Adios.